now, we've covered children and adolescents, we've covered some therapies, and now switching to adults, it is my pleasure to welcome two ladies to the platform. Two ladies go by the name of Lucy and Julie. So Lucy and Julie are going to basically take us through their story, really, their story of dystonia. So if I can ask the two ladies to come up, please. I don't know if you've decided between you who wants to go first. Would you like to go behind there? There you go, and you've just got the microphone. You can just stand there. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
It's on, is it?
It's on. You don't need to do anything. Okay.
Dystonia. What's that? Many people ask me what it is, and when I try and explain it, very few understand anything about it or haven't even heard of it. So hello everyone, my name is Julie, and I was diagnosed with dystonia about 14 years ago. I have something called Maigies syndrome, which affects my eyes. What happens is my eyes, at the moment, you're probably looking at me thinking, no, there's nothing wrong with her at all. And that's good, because obviously that's how I want you to see me. However, I get sometimes, when I'm not speaking, my eyes will shut, and then when I try to open them naturally, my face distorts. And because I'm speaking, that's probably not going to happen now, so I won't try and demonstrate it. I've been told it's a type of Blepharospasm, and which means that, and it's a different type of Blepharospasm, it's a long word. It's not to do with blinking or any other type of movement like that. It's just purely to do with my eyes closing. I've been told it's not a common Maigies syndrome. Okay, trust me to be different. I'm on medication, of course, like everybody else here. I take the trihexafenadil. Don't try and say that when you've had a few drinks, and clonazepam, and I take those every day, and I have been for 14 years now. I understand that this condition is going to be with me for life. Hopefully there'll be a cure, who knows. It does frustrate me at times, especially when I'm out socially. Not with friends, but when I'm out socially with people I don't know, present company accepted. The fact that when I'm out socially, I don't actually go up to people and say, oh, by the way, I've got dystonia, and if people look at me strangely or whatever, I just don't say anything, because I'm sure that it doesn't really, I don't really want to have to explain it all the time. So I'm lucky in that respect. I think I feel very, very lucky indeed. I decided to have the deep brain stimulator implant, which I've got here, and a scar to prove it. I went through a lot of thought before I did this. I obviously had to have lots of discussions with my husband and my son, who is now 21. It was something that I didn't take lightly, because obviously having brain surgery was something which, you really do have to think about, the implications and everything. But I decided that I would go through with it. And my husband and son, they were very worried about me having this. It felt very important to involve them in what I was going through with the decision making. I don't think my husband actually was totally with me on it. I think he was probably quite scared, actually, that something would happen, because they'd have to live with me, whatever the outcome was. I was in hospital for 4 days only, after having, quite a brain surgery, which is, it's weird, because after I'd had the brain surgery, I sort of laid there and thought to myself, wow, I've just had brain surgery. And they've told me that it's working 50%. It's not it's not total, you know, it's not cure or anything, but obviously 50% is better than not having it at all. So I decided to go ahead with it. I can't remember really life before the deep brain stimulation, or even before I was diagnosed with dystonia. Quite a few people say to me, what was it like before, consultants, doctors, whatever. And it's very difficult to remember what your life was like before dystonia. I don't know whether anyone else feels the same as this. But anyway, and the other thing is that going on holiday and having to go through the airport security stuff, that's always an interesting thing. I wave my card to the person that I need to do because I can't go through the actual sensor thing. And they always say, pacemaker. And obviously I'm not going to say, well, actually it's not a pacemaker, it's a DBS. But it does actually frustrate me a little bit because obviously they look at it, but they just say, pacemaker, it's a pacemaker, that's fine. But it's something I've just become accustomed to, and to be honest, I don't really worry about that. I feel very blessed to have the support of my family. My husband is very understanding. When we go out anywhere, I don't feel the need to explain my dystonia. It's just far too complicated to explain. My 21-year-old son is very aware of my condition. He's never really known his mum without dystonia, so it's obviously difficult for him to know what it was like before. So he's lived with it right from when he was about 4 years old up until his current age, 21. When we go out together, we go shopping together quite often, and when we go out, he's walking along beside me, and he will pull me out of the way of impending lampposts if I've got my eyes shut, and people, he tends to pull me out of the way all the time, and I say, it's all right, I can see the lamppost. Well, I was only trying to help Mum, but it's really lovely of him, and he does mean well, and he's lovely. He's really, really good with me, and I really appreciate that. I've involved him in all aspects of from diagnosis to now. I just feel it's important that he understands everything about what I'm going through. He even did a video of me once. I had to do a video to take to my consultant, and it was a video of me eating. And it was before I had the DBS, and he actually did the video for me. Now that's something which was very difficult because my face was very, very distorted, because when I ate, I was my face was all over the place. And he took this video and did it very well, and we've since used it at various occasions. He actually came to the assessment with me before I had my DBS operation. My husband couldn't make it at that particular time, he was away. Thomas came with me. He was about 10 years old then, and he sat with me on the bed, and a whole load of people came in, and I was so wanted to have the DBS implant that I was overwhelmed by all the people that were asking me questions. These doctors came in, and consultants and surgeons, and I cried. I was very, very upset about the whole thing. And he reached forward and held my hand, and that's something that I'll never forget. That will be with me for life. That particular moment in time was very important. There's a little piece in I'm not trying to promote myself, I promise, but in Dystonia Matters I wrote a little piece about that, so you might want to have a look, and there's a picture of him and me in there. I know there are a lot of different types of dystonia, and there are a lot of you far worse than I am, and I really feel for anybody that's got this condition, because it's not nice. I was at a conference quite a few years ago now, and I met a really lovely lady called Lynn. She's not here today. she has dystonia, she has the jaw dystonia, and her speech is very much impaired. We met, and we have now become very, very good friends, and that is something which also is very, very important in my life, to have somebody who knows exactly what you're going through. At the moment, she's going through a lot of stress in her life, and her dystonia has got a lot worse, and I am actually trying to help her be positive about the situation that she's in at the moment. It's difficult because she's not actually a very positive person. However, I'm doing my best. I know there's lots of... I just wanted to say that here, when people are all talking to each other, you know, if there's a chance that people can meet up afterwards and have, you know, like I did with Lynn, have coffees together, and every now and again we have lunch. It's just lovely to have a friend with the same condition, not necessarily because you've got that condition, but to have that friendship. I really strongly recommend it. I know there's a lot of research happening with dystonia, and obviously I support that. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a cure, or even something to say why we've all got it? That's one of those things. But in the meantime, I feel it's very important to live life to the full, and somehow I have incorporated the dystonia into my life rather than try and fight it. I just think it takes a lot of effort to fight something, but to try and live with something, I know it may not be easy for people, but that was my attitude towards it. Obviously, I'd be happy to chat to anyone who wants to know about the DBS and my experiences with it, or anything else to do with my condition. I just want to say thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope everyone finds something positive at this conference today. I just wish everybody well. Thank you.
So now I want to welcome Lucy up to the lectern. And Lucy, again, that has quite a good range, so you can stand just as far, really, as you want to from it.
That's fine. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. This is the first public speech I've done in some time, to be honest, since having what I've got is cervical dystonia, spasmodic torticollis, upper limb dystonia, but pretty much generalised dystonia now. So that's me. It started about 7 years ago, I think, but we think now it's probably longer than that. Went through GPs, the usual that you've heard today many times, where GPs don't listen. Went and saw so many different people, physiotherapists, you know, acupuncture, and nothing worked. Until I went to a neurologist, and I had Botox shots for about 2.5 years. I did kind of write speech, but I'm kind of not reading it anymore. So I went through all that. Botox, it didn't really work. So I got a bit fed up, and my life became really closed down. I lost my confidence. I used to be a really confident person. I used to go out, socialise, drink, chat, talk to anyone. That's the kind of person I am now, but I wasn't then. Then my mum passed away, which obviously caused me to get very stressed as well. My fiancé also left because of the pressure. So it's all very sad then, but not anymore, because I then fought to find a consultant that would actually listen to me, because I self-diagnosed myself with dystonia, and probably many of you have too by Googling it. It's just, you know, you look at it, you think, you know what you've got, but the doctors don't listen. They give you some painkillers or say go and do some exercises, but it doesn't really work, I don't think. But, you know, everyone's has their personal choices. Eventually, what I did do, I sent at least 50 emails from the whole of Europe, whole of America, to then get an email back saying contact this hospital, and I did. And it was St George's Hospital in Tooting. A lady called Alison Leake, who's the secretary for Professor Francesca Magante, sat over there, the wonderful lady that she is, emailed me straight back and said, yes, we want to see you. That is when my life changed. Because the minute I saw this lady, she knew she could help me. And I stand here today because I'm just so proud to be here. I'm proud to be with all of you, and I'm very proud to say that DBS for me has worked. My voice was very broken before. I'll be looking left. You'll probably see a video shortly of how I was. I wouldn't be able to do this because I'd probably be in a mess. I'll be shaking and all sorts of things. But, you know, I am here and it's fantastic. I've also met somebody else. I never thought I'd find love again, but I have. She's over there. I'm also engaged again. So here we go. Wedding's coming. Looks like it's going to be a big wedding. You're all coming. I do want to say one thing is when I used to go and see Professor, she used to make me write something to check my writing. And it was today is a beautiful day. And I used to write it over and over again 3 times every time I saw her. And today is a beautiful day. So I thank you very much. That's me.
Today's a beautiful day then. It is, yeah. I don't know what it's like outside, but in here it is a beautiful day, yeah, is it? So we haven't got much time for questions, but I'm wondering if people, again, in the audience have comments, questions to the ladies up here. What I would ask is, I've been told, because we are live streaming this, if you wouldn't mind waiting for the microphone to arrive, and if you are able to, if you're able to stand up, if you've got any comments or questions, that would be appreciated. So if you can, stick your hand in the air if there's any comment, any question at all for these. I think you're both really brave, actually, to come up in front of a big audience like this. I think you are, yeah. Anybody like to start?
I think that's the open.
Yes, just in the middle there.
Hello. Thank you both for setting out your own journeys. My question is for Lucy, because I have a similar dystonia, and clearly you found a pathway forward that's worked for you to some extent, and I'd be interested to hear what worked for you.
I just think the way, obviously, I was tuned, the first tuning when you first turned on, I did have a fantastic reaction to it. And when I first had my first tuning, it was about 2 hours, you know, long tuning.
I'm sorry, I was listening
to
you.
Took about 2 hours, and then after that, Professor Maigies, she said, go and have a walk around 40 minutes, so I did. And I'll tell you something, I've never been able to turn around and look, and do you know what, I'm not a selfie queen, but I am now, because I can hold my phone and look at it. And now every day I look at myself and go, I can look in the mirror straight, I'm not scared to walk down the road, and I think I'm bloody brilliant. So, sod it.
And so I think we all think you are brilliant and everything. I wonder, may I ask, are you on any medication?
I only take drugs at night. I've completely whittled it down. I used to take loads of different ones. I take a couple of clonazepam. I take 3 amitriptylines, and that's pretty much it. And a painkiller if I need it. But pretty much in the daytime, I don't really take anything. So I decided to get off that, which I have. I needed to update you on that as well. I don't take drugs anymore. Right, so that's it.
And my absolute last question, stop me if anyone's got their hand up. I'm just having a look around the room. And I wonder whether either of you have found any of the complementary therapies of use. We hear of Felton Christ on the Dystonia website, Reiki, anything such as that.
I mean, I've had acupuncture. I started doing acupuncture, but to be honest, I didn't find that successful. So, and you know, I mean, I have tried Reiki at times in my life, and yes, it's relaxing and lovely, but it hasn't actually done anything for the dystonia.
I'm the same, exactly the same.
Okay. Again, I think you ladies, will you be around at break time and coffee time, to actually talk some more. But again, thank you for being brave and sharing your stories as well. Thank you.
Thank you.